Hello my friends, and welcome back to a continued playing Let's Play Ace Attorney Apollo Justice, the first game in the Apollo Justice Trilogy. My name is FlightlessBird, this is your Soviet gaming channel, and today... Oh, that first... the first part of this game just... I don't even know where to begin. It totally caught me by surprise on so many levels that I'm eager, very eager to jump back in to see what's going on. So let's not waste any time. Let's do this. Well, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game. Hope you're all having a wonderful, fantastic day today. Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear the defendant lost badly.
Miss O'Reilly, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant.
I still think they got the roles reversed. Like the grape juice bottle there tells me that Phoenix was the winner and the other guy was the loser. Maybe I'm wrong. Serious competition. The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning, it was victim. Our last hand, defendant played with all chips on table and lose. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and...
Indeed, looking at this picture, does seem to be a one-sided game.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow.
How many times have I heard these words? I done it in a fit of anger, Your Honor. Now I regret what I done. It's a common tale, but true.
Methinks the judge watches too many old court movies. I love the old judge. Seriously, he's such a great character. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so his testimony must be wrong. Cross-examination. The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. Are those the usual starting points? Were there any special rules used? No, not special. Usual game, usual rules.
Well, if each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be, let's see, take the one, add the two, exactly, it's 7,000 points.
Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even long division. Like I said, I absolutely adore the judge. House chips come in two sizes, the small and large. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used? Of course. Huh? Something is fishy with these chips. Should I press harder? No. I'm gonna circle back to this. Let me press through, because there have been times in the past when I pressed harder that it ended the sequence. I don't want to do that, so we'll come back to this. Nah. It's her nature to be jumpy. It's suspicious looking. The one who was winning, it was the victim. You're telling me that Mr. Wright, undefeated for 7 whole years, was losing? It must have been most unlucky day for him. I'm glad I did not take other picture of him. It would break camera, certainly. The chips, they went always to the victim's side of the table. So, you're telling us it was a one-sided game? One-sided and... For last hand, defendant played with all chips on table and lose. Last hand? It was largest points by any hand. The defendant's hand, it was excellent. He tried to use it to take victory from behind.
Well, it appears that both the defendant and the victim's hands are in this picture. That truly is an excellent hand. However, so is the victims. One with the highest number win.
Oh, one with the highest number wins, so defendant loses. Ah, the victim, Mr. Smith, had a stronger hand than the defendant. It crashed him. I believe that explains what occurred next. Once cards laid down on table, it happened. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and... And? What happened next? Even to think of it now, I shake and tremble. Duh! I did not believe such thing would happen. What such thing? Please, you must believe I had no idea. How could such a thing occur? What such thing? Niet. The defendant had been hitting the victim. Duh! I saw it all happen right before me. I saw a bottle coming down on victim's head. Decisive, isn't it, Your Honor? My witness saw the very moment of the crime. Remember, your first goal is to gather information. Yes, sir. Look out, contradiction. Here comes justice. Okay, so let's go back to this one. Is there a, skip button? I don't think there is. Oh, mash cross. Or X. Yeah. Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips. Explain? What is there to be explained? Oh my god, that voice. Pocket chips are pocket chips. And they're not fish and chips. Not a chip with it old black. Not a motorcycle cop. Not a... Thanks. Now that I've pressed her, I better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even? Yet, as I have been saying before, it was a game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for a capitalist to understand. 2 types of chip, 100 points chip and 1,000 points chip. It is not money, duh. Justice. Sir, did you find her comment interesting? In more ways than one, sir. I'd have it added to her testimony myself.
Well, does the defense want the witness to add to a testimony?
Yeah. Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. I wish I knew where I was going with this.
Very well, witness. You'll be so kind.
Duh, Your Honor. So the first thing that jumped to my mind is... incorrect values. I can't see it. Here. Okay, so I said incorrect values. Let's see. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 black chips. There are 6 red chips. So that would be 7,000 total points. So I don't see a contradiction in the amount of points on the table. Wait a second. If we assume the red chips are 1,000, because doing the math, there's 10 black and 6 red, which would make 7,000 points, right? So if we do the math here, if we assume the guy on the right lost this hand, and he went all in, he would be going all in. I'm sorry. If we assume the guy on the left lost and he went all in, he would be going all in with 2,900 points. Because the other side only has 2,900 points. If he had lost this hand, he doesn't lose the game. He would still have, what, 1,800 points? So this game would not have decided the end result either way. Because if the guy on the left wins, if the guy on the right wins, the guy on the left still has more chips. Yeah, we can see their hands. We know who won the deal. Press first. Mr. Gavin said this testimony is important. To be honest, I have no idea why.
Mr. Justice, does the court a favor and think of what you want to say before raising your hand? We are not kindergartens.
Sorry, I'm fine. I'd better think of something to ask. And quick. The two types of chips. Okay, so it looks like this is the same. Nope. The small ones are 100 and the big ones are 1,000. Right, of course?
Ha! Don't waste our time.
Is that all?
Yeah, goop. Great, Mr. Gavin made me stop her, and I'm the one who looks dumb. Oh, Justice. Please try not to embarrass me like that. Huh? Who? Me? There's a clear contradiction in the information you have in your hands. What? It's a simple matter of calculation. Go on, try it. We're not in kindergarten, after all. Calculation? Yeah, okay, so that basically affirms what... Now, the question is... Yeah, the question is, do we press on... Do we press on this one? Because this is the one that makes sense to press on, right? Although this is the one that we uncovered. I hate it when this happens. When I know what to do, but I don't know how to do it. Or, what happens a lot to me in Ace Attorney is I present something thinking I was doing one thing, but I actually solved the riddle by doing something else I didn't realize I was doing. That happens too. So here, like I said, it could either be this one or it could be this one. And I think this one is the correct response. This evidence clearly reveals a contradiction that set me on it. Okay, well, I got it wrong, but I got it right in my head because I know what I'm trying to do, but...
How exactly are the evidence and statement just now related?
They aren't, are they?
Not at all. Mr. Justice, please think over the facts before making accusations.
I don't think that won any points with the judge. Okay, so that means that it has to be this one, which doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, because you're trying to prove that the defendant didn't play with all the chips on his table, because he didn't, because he didn't need to. To force all in, he just needed to play with a fraction of his chips. But let's see whether... I mean, that's what happens all the time in Ace Attorney, like I said, is I have this thing about how to present X evidence to prove Y thing. You sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure.
It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture is enough to tell you who won. If you're not in kindergarten...
Well, the guy on the right won. Oh, I see what happened. So the guy on the right did win. But the guy on the left didn't go all in. The guy on the left is still playing. But the point is, the defendant didn't lose the hand. He won the hand.
Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court?
Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points?
Oh my, the big ones, of course, duh.
When did we say that? No, it's not the big ones, you see. That never... Did I miss that somehow? Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up.
The totals?
Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points of chips, and the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points.
Oh, yes, my calculations are correct. Let's see. 3 plus 1, I carry the 5.
They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that literally shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points and the small ones are worth 100, and you add them up.
How much is it?
Do it yourself. You aren't in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony. Sorry, I stopped talking to listen to the music. I love the music.
But why? How could this be?
Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right. There's only one possible way to explain this contradiction. Starting points were wrong. Chip count is not wrong. Both were right. No. Starting points were right. The chip count was right. No, both were right. Which means that the only possible explanation is that the defendant was sitting on the right side, which means he won the hand. And again, that goes back to me saying that, well, the juice bottle is on the right-hand side, which makes me think he would be drinking juice. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can be only one answer.
Well, what is it?
The value of the chips was the other way around.
What?
Want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones.
Madness, utter madness.
Show me that photograph of the chips again. Well, there are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up.
Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it.
But wait. The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing.
Well, indeed, victim did have the larger number of chips still.
Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points to each side of the table.
Arrgh.
Well, the victim, Mrs. Smith, would have 2,900 points. The defendant had 4,100 points.
Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
That's impossible.
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning. Let me go back to this photo. Okay, so the point is, maybe Phoenix was sitting on the left side, and even though he lost his hand, he was winning overall, but then he would have lost his hand, so he would have been losing.
Arrgh.
Now, Miss O'Reilly, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime. Would you?
Eek.
Order, I say. It appears the defendant has lost his motive. Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened.
Young.
We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust Mr. Wright's testimony yet. Excuse me, what is it, Miss O'Reilly?
I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you see,
I see what, Miss O'Reilly? What do you see?
in the last hand, there was cheat.
Cheat? You don't mean a trick?
Wait, what do you mean? A scam?
They're all the same thing. Yes, there was cheat in last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are. I'm still a little slightly confused. I don't mind being a little slightly confused by this. It's not important, especially with the new details about someone cheating. But if Phoenix was on the left side, he would be losing after this hand. If Phoenix was on the right side, he'd be winning after this hand. So it seems like that motive thing didn't make a whole lot of sense, because regardless of where Phoenix sits, he either would have been considerably, I mean, if he sat on the left and we had the chips wrong, well, he would have been winning at this point, but then he lost the hand, so he would have been losing. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe Maybe I just missed it somehow. Well, that is why the game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great. First we have lying, and now we have cheating. Well, this case certainly has taken a turn. Pretty interesting.
Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating. The final hand.
Witness testimony. The final hand. The last hand. Both men had full house. There is 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, the cheat is more obvious. How is it more obvious? There's 4 aces. There's 4 aces, 3 sevens, 3 kings. There's a 3 in the background. There's something on the left. I mean, even if that's a 7, it wouldn't be cheating. Because if you want to cheat, you would just put the 7 down instead of ace and get a 4 of a kind. I mean, that's a stronger hand. I don't see how this is cheating. Especially since all the suits are different. You have ace of clubs, ace of hearts, ace of spades, ace of diamonds. All the kings are different, all the sevens are different. So, I mean, it's a very unrealistic hand, but it's possible. The next moment, game becomes argument da. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took battle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith. Mr. Really, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? Because she knows that she's on the back foot. And she's trying to backpedal. Because we know that she's full of you-know-what. I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers.
Full house is a very high scoring hand. Not easy to make in my experience.
Well, then alone is not disrespect, less unscrupulous tactics.
Mr. Gavin. Oh, sorry, that's... Mr. Gavin, what's a full house?
Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker.
I can't say this bodes well for your case or your career.
What is this, some kind of secret court poker ring?
Justice. You know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes? Yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number makes a pair, and 3 makes a 3 of a kind. Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and 3 of a kind. That's a full house. That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it?
You can see each player's hand in this photo.
Wow, they both have full houses.
We forget, there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years.
You know, probably what happened is my knowledge of poker allowed me to see what the cards were faster than what the game introduced them as. And because of that, that may have been where my confusion stems from.
You cheat.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
If he did cheat in his last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Yeah, that's okay. That's exactly what I said. Who's ever heard of a professional conman losing when they cheat? The final hand. The last hand. Both men had full house. Just how hard is it to make a full house, anyway? It is quite hard, da. It is making a pair and a 3 of a kind at the same time. Huh. I guess that's right.
It's very difficult to be sure. You can take my word as a poker hit in courtroom number 3.
It's very difficult, da, but it is not impossible. Okay, full house, hard. The line of questioning, a waste of time. There is 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. 4 of each card, you say? Da, there is 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club of each card. It is interesting fact that the number 4 comes from the number of seasons. Well, depends where you live. I mean, in ancient Egypt, they had 3 seasons. Akhet, Shemu, and Peret, I believe. And those 3 seasons were based on the Nile River flooding. So in ancient Egypt, you know, seasons were based off of the flooding of the river because it made more sense because, I mean, going around the sun it was not something that was as important as getting agriculture. But yeah, okay, I can see what you're saying. Huh, you don't say.
Did you know that the cards are numbered 1 through 13?
No, they're not. They're numbered 1 through 10, and they have face cards.
And all the cards in deck, you get 364 a year.
That's not accurate. Huh, you don't say. Is that when they I love the judge.
Oh, that's why each deck has 2 jokers. They say the second joker stands for the leap year.
Is this actually true about cards? I never knew this about playing cards.
Does you have a perfect representation of the year, all in a deck of cards?
Huh, you don't say. We're going to be in this courtroom for a year if it keeps going like this. Now, we only have like 3 days or something, right? According to Ace Attorney timelines.
If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious.
How was it clear?
Well, the defendant. He played a 5th ace.
Where? I don't see this. Spade, diamond, club, heart. Where's the 5th ace?
For 5th ace? I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. What? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's 2. Those 7s.
Is this a contradiction? I mean, it seems like a really obvious contradiction. Also, wait. He's got a diamond in his spade. Oh. This was the other person. Spade, club, heart. Club, heart, spade. That's a king.
And Mr. Wright's too. Obviously, cheating was a foot, or perhaps I should say a hand.
Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke.
Very well. Witness will add this detail to a testimony, please.
That seems like an obvious contradiction right there.
Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all.
A 5th ace?
It should not exist, no. I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's 2.
Well, where did this card come from then?
Perhaps we should ask the defendant that very question. Adding cards to a deck is no serious taboo then forging evidence in the court of law.
Now, perhaps it's time for you to say something, Justice. You bet. I have no intention of staying quiet. Not me. No, sir. I better find some contradicting evidence fast.
The next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed.
Now, I know what I need to do, but I want to cycle through this, you know, for obvious reasons. Do you recall what the men were arguing about?
I believe so. The victim, he shouts, "You are a cheater," and then the defendant shouts something like, "I have objection." Shouting objection, eh? All the habits are hard to break. First, he bluffed his way through the courtroom, and now he bluffs his way through life.
However, Mr. Wright lost his hand. It seems to cast a shadow of doubt on Mr. Smith.
Humiliation from losing, even when cheating. That is what set fire to the defendant's heart.
So what did the flaming defendant do next?
He took bottle in his hand. Oh, poor Mr. Smith.
By bottle, are you referring to this?
The defendant uses this bottle to This behavior is an admission of cheating by the defendant.
But why use a grape juice bottle?
You'll be surprised how it can be used as a weapon. This juice is recommended drink of Bush Bowl Club. This year's vintage is remarkable for its hefty flavor.
Hefty enough to brain a grown man, apparently. First she says it was a serious competition, and now she says it was cheating. Justice, notice anything odd? Her testimony keeps changing. Now she says the defendant cheated. Actually, yes, I had noticed that. Well, let's get the truth about this cheating first, shall we? Right, leave it to me. Yeah, I know exactly what to do here. This one. It appears the witness is mistaken.
Mistaken? But my name...
Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony.
Well, that's the photo of the chips, is it not?
Justice. Perhaps you ought to explain your point of view that the way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point at your point.
Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo.
One particular point contradicts the testimony. I'm not sure which king it is. And I don't have the ability to look at, I don't have the ability, I don't know which king is wrong. But it's probably this one. Mr. Willie, in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only had 2 aces. Eek! God, this voice.
Well, maybe the witness was just simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question.
No, because it didn't. Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant hand also has only 2 aces. Where's the 5th ace? I see cheating, alright. And it's going on right here in the courtroom.
2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating.
Wait, please. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating. I swear to you.
No, there is no cheating. What there is you lying on the sand because you probably committed the crime. Question is, well, actually, there's a bunch of questions still, which is, what's up with the locket? What's up with the other locket? If they're the same locket, then what's going on with that? Then you have the question of this, when did she kill him? And why did she kill him? I don't know. There's still more questions here. There's not a simple cut and dry, she did it. That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right to trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion.
What might that be, Mr. Gavin?
If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards.
The cards?
Mr. Payne.
Yes?
The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court.
Now, very well. Prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards?
If these cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? The more suspicious hand would be the aces over kings. Why is that more suspicious? Because the idea that you have 2 aces and 3 kings, that's a very tall order. I mean, king is like the second highest card. So, whereas 3 sevens, but then again, you could just say, well, Flightless, yeah, 3 sevens, a queen and an ace, and replace the queen with the ace. And that's less suspicious because, I mean, you would want to cheat an ace rather than cheat a king. True. I'm talking myself out of this, aren't I? I'm gonna go with the victims. It was the victim hand that changed over the course of the witness testimony. Exactly. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards.
Very well. Mr. Payne, if you would.
Plus, Phoenix lost that hand. So, maybe the only way he lost that hand was because the other person cheated.
Very well.
Received evidence, victim's hand. Victim's hand was left at the scene, a full house. Well, time's a wasting. Get to it, Justice. Yes, sir. Oh, are they gonna teach me how to examine things? Even though I've already done it? When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Try using the R stuff to turn it around. Okay, I know that. should give you a better perspective on the case. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, so they're probably marked on the back of the cards. That's what my guess is. Okay, I was not expecting that though. So there are two decks, there's a red deck and a blue deck. The fact that this deck has a blue card in it says it was cheated, and that's the point. I was expecting some sort of markings or something less obvious, but yeah, it's definitely this. What? Your Honor, look at this. Oh, one of the victim's cards. The back is a different color. Well, that's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. Ah! What was that? What was that? What was that, miss? Oh, really?
No, yet. I merely said that I have ink.
Your Honor,
Mr. Gavin, yes?
tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker?
Well, to cheat.
I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer. Wait, so you mean, oh, she dealt him that, ha ha ha. She was in cahoots. A lot of cahootery going on here. This witness, Miss O'Reilly. She's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager.
Order.
Focus for justice. Take time to take advantage of her. I mean, of her mistake. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard.
That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand.
Ergo, Miss Olga O'Reilly conspired to cheat not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. Yep, he's a shady guy, right? Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim.
What?
Wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga O'Reilly? Are you?
Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident. And if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga O'Reilly, of murder. I love the breakdowns in this series. Oh, that was great.
Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga O'Reilly?
It appears she has lost consciousness, Your Honor.
Mr. Justice.
Your Honor,
Seems you present a new possibility to the court. Are you suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith?
and that means?
But this court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time.
What?
I did it. I held out.
Now, I see no point in prolonging this trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries.
What? Wait, Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet.
What nonsense is the defendant's viewing now?
Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means? Did he just like, is he standing on Olga right now, or did he just push her out of the way?
What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous!
Mr. Payne, you of all people should know. Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of these things. Now let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night.
As was said before, we alternated between the 2 deck of cards that night.
Well, that was said before.
The 2 decks at the club had different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed. Used 2 different colors and they still got mixed up. We used the red deck for the last game.
I see, but that's odd. For some reason, had this impression they were using the blue cards.
Why the heck would you think that? I mean, why would you think you're using the blue cards when 4 of these are red? Come on, Judge, keep up. Yeah, I mean, why would you think that? I'm sure someone said something about blue cards.
Oh, whatever. In the end, only one card of the wrong color got into the mix, which means it was cheating.
Wait, well, all 4 of the cards cheated? Wait, if they were using the blue cards? That means she completely cheated his entire hand. Whoa. Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet, this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think, in the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder.
Well, yeah. Thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright.
Oh! Oh! Oh, 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 oh. The guy on the right lost this hand. He lost this hand. He lost the game. Shady Smith lost the game. He never had a full house. And so what happened is Phoenix left because he won. And I guess he won the locket. Maybe that's what happened. So he won the game. He left. And then the dealer attacked Shady, killed him, and then switched out his card with a card that would have won this hand, and then took this picture. By taking this picture, it looks like Phoenix lost the hand, or was losing, but that never happened. He won the match. Oh, that's clever. That is so clever.
Of course, it was swapped.
Oh. It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not be.
Arg.
I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When was the card swapped into the deck? Now, normally, I'm gonna save here just to make sure. Normally what happens is when there is no health meter, that means that if you choose the wrong answer, you don't get penalized. Now, I know the answer is after the murder, but what I want to do is, for story reasons, I want to select the incorrect options first. Because by selecting the incorrect options, I get to hear more of the story. So, this is my answer, for the record. This is my answer, and I explain why this is my answer. But let me go through the others first. Well, it must have happened before the murder.
You mean during the game?
I wonder. Huh? Why? Think. When you're playing poker, which side of the cards face your opponent? Back! The back. Oh, that's something I didn't even think about. He would have seen that the card. Ah, that's clever too. He would have seen that that there was cheating.
Not something the poker head at courtroom number 3 would be likely to miss.
Sorry, let me think about this some more. Oh, that's clever. During the murder. Well, weren't they swapped during the murder?
During the murder? Tell me, exactly when is that?
Huh? Well, the very moment of the act, I guess. Would that be the moment the cards were shown? Or perhaps the moment when the cheater was revealed?
Or maybe the very moment the bottle came down and Mr. Smith's head kaplunk.
Could I have a moment?
Well, that moment could cost you this case.
So sorry, let me rethink this. When was the card swapped into the deck? After the murder. Perhaps that happened after the murder.
Oh, what's that? Ridiculous! What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly!
Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh.
Even when the backs of cards are a different color, if you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time.
Ugh.
Quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us.
Oh, there's another?
Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? Who? The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room, alive that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga O'Reilly. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue? Okay, so once again, the correct answer is Olga. So let's choose the other ones. The one who swapped the card was Mr. Wright. It was you, wasn't it? And why would I do such a thing? Well, because, maybe you were trying to hide the fact that you'd cheated.
Well, that would make sense, but the swap card was in the victim's hand.
Oh. Sorry. I'm a nice guy, but I'm not that nice. Come to think of it, he would lack a motive for helping his opponent to win. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for the blue? Someone else? The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga O'Reilly either.
What are you suggesting?
That's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As the defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss O'Reilly at this point. Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe that she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card. That's a good point.
And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious.
Huh. Ha.
Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright?
Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking about how much fun this is. Wait, was that the right choice? Did I accidentally choose the right choice? Wow, I got that wrong then. Fun. How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant, and it wasn't Miss O'Reilly, I got that one wrong. Then who was it? Yeah, well, that's the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction.
A new direction?
We'll find that, indeed, after the murder. Someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hands. And that someone made two critical mistakes. Wait, what? Okay, this is we have officially entered into this is not a tutorial case from the original Phoenix Wright trilogy. This seems to have morphed into something else. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong color card. Because the one who did the swap didn't know two colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right. The person replaced the fifth ace with a king. Why is that an issue? I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace after all. All they knew was that the game had but one with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in. But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist. True, not until now. But you have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime. What? I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright. Indeed.
This trial has proceeded on one central assumption. Namely that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room.
I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption.
The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court.
Well, I suppose it is a problem, yes.
Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Very well. Trial will resume in 20 minutes.
April 20th, 11:52 a.m. District Court, Defendant, Lobby number 3. Well, that was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. To suddenly claim there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Well, now, I think you would know the answer to that. Be mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Kristoff. Justice. Yes, sir. The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket that you wear. Is that really yours, Mr. Wright? Ah, you're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Here, you can take a look at it. That's a picture of my daughter in there. First look at his daughter. Ooh. I like her design. Love the hat. The coat. And she's wearing a necklace. Although, who's the mom? Are we ever gonna figure that out? I hope so. I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago? What I did? It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. Wait, what happened 7 years ago? I never, honest, but it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. What happened 7 years ago? Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. Eh? You see, poker is all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like a trial law. Figure out what your opponent is thinking, and you win. Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. I think not. Huh? Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. The body language can become a valuable source of information. You're kidding. That witness, for instance, Miss O'Reilly. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? I just thought she was fidgeting all over the place because she was just all around untrustworthy. No, come on, how did you not notice that? Words, habits, twitches, it's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass the secret on to you. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know how to do it yet. What's he talking about? But you will, soon. Ah, almost forgot. One more thing. About this case. You should know, I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it. I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My, power? I have no idea my courts of steel were that special. It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best. To be continued. Alright, my friends, well, I mean, we're at about 53 minutes. This is a very logical stopping point. So we're going to go ahead and stop here. Pick up Ace Attorney, Apollo Justice in the next video. I want to thank you all for being the #1 YouTube community on YouTube. You all are amazing. I'm just so excited to be playing this game with you all. And you know, it's just, it feels good to be back in Ace Attorney's realm. It's just so great. And yeah. So once again, thank you for everyone who commented in that last video. Thank you for those who are along for the ride for maybe the first time. And I will see you all again very, very soon. Until next time, so long, and take care. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to comment on what you saw and what you'd like to see next. I always love to hear your thoughts. But before we go, please remember that you matter, and you are brilliant, and you are loved, and you should always be true to yourself. Never let the world tell you any different. Much love to you from your friendly, feathered, flightless bird.